The night shift at Europa Deep Space Monitoring Station was usually quiet. Most operators spent their time watching endless streams of data, looking for any unusual patterns in the vast emptiness of space. But tonight was different. John Miller sat up straight in his chair as his screen lit up with strange readings. At first, he thought it was a malfunction in the system. The energy signatures he detected were unlike anything recorded in the station's database. They pulsed with a regular pattern that couldn't be natural. "Sir," he called out to his supervisor, "you need to see this." Station Chief Bill Thompson walked over, coffee cup in hand. As he looked at the screen, hot coffee splashed on the floor. Forgotten. "Call Earth Defense Fleet Command. Now." Within hours, Captain Robert James of the Earth Defense Fleet stood on the bridge of the EDF Defender, Earth's most advanced warship. His gray eyes studied the holographic display showing the strange energy readings. They were coming from the Kuiper Belt, far beyond Neptune's orbit. "What do we know so far?" he asked his science officer. "The energy signature suggests artificial origin, sir, but it's not just one source. We're detecting hundreds of them, and they're not moving." Captain James made his decision quickly. "Set course for the source. All crews on standby. Let's find out what we're dealing with." The journey took 3 days, even with their best engines. As they approached the coordinates, the ship's sensors revealed something that made everyone on the bridge stop and stare. Hundreds of massive ships, each one bigger than the largest Earth vessel, floated motionless in space. "My God," someone whispered. The alien ships were beautiful in a strange way. They looked like giant silver leaves, their surfaces smooth and flowing. But something was wrong. Many of them were dark, with only faint lights showing they still had power. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," the communications officer reported. It seems to be in English." Captain James raised an eyebrow. "Put it through." A voice filled the bridge, speaking slowly and carefully. "Earth vessel, we greet you in peace. We have been watching your broadcasts and learning your languages. We are in need of assistance. This is Captain Robert James of the Earth Defense Fleet. Identify yourself." "I am High Elder Karen of the Stellar Alliance Refugee Fleet. Our ships are failing. We carry 2 million civilians, and we need help." James looked at the massive fleet again. 2 million lives. This would be the most important first contact in human history, and it was starting with a cry for help. "Can you explain your situation, High Elder?" The alien's voice carried a tone of worry that seemed universal across species. "Our fleet was fleeing from a great threat. We passed through an anomaly in space that damaged our quantum drive cores. Without them, we cannot move, and our life support systems will eventually fail." Captain James thought carefully about his next words. This could be a trick. But if it wasn't, 2 million lives hung in the balance. "I'll need to contact Earth Command. But I promise you this, if you're truly in need of help, humanity will not turn its back on you." He turned to his crew. "Send all data to Earth Command, and get me a secure line to the Defense Council." As the crew rushed to follow his orders, James looked out at the stranded fleet. Earth had just taken its first steps into a larger galaxy, and those steps would be to help others in need. In his heart, he knew this was right. Within hours, the news spread across Earth. Humanity wasn't alone in the universe, and their first alien contact was with refugees who needed their help. Debates began in every government, but the images of the dark, powerless ships carried a strong message. These people, alien though they might be, needed help. As Captain James waited for orders from Earth Command, he watched his crew already beginning scans and analyses of the alien ships. Humanity's engineers and scientists were itching to understand the advanced technology, even in its damaged state. The captain smiled. Whatever came next, humanity would face it with their greatest strengths: curiosity, compassion, and determination to solve any problem in front of them. The first step of humanity's greatest adventure had begun, and it started with a simple offer of help. 3 days after first contact, The situation became clearer, and it wasn't good news. Captain James stood in the main conference room of the United Earth Government building in Geneva, facing the Defense Council. The room was filled with military leaders, scientists, and government officials from every major nation on Earth. The alien fleet consists of exactly 312 ships, James reported, pointing to the holographic display. They carry just over 2 million civilians, including children. Their life support systems are running on backup power, and according to their engineers, they have about 3 Earth months before critical failures begin. Dr. Anna Marcus, Earth's leading expert on propulsion systems, stepped forward. The real problem is their quantum drive cores. These cores don't just power their engines, they're connected to every major system on their ships. When they failed, everything started failing. The defense minister leaned forward. And what caused these failures? The refugees passed through what they call a dark space anomaly while fleeing from their pursuers, James explained. This anomaly damaged their quantum technology in ways they don't fully understand. They barely managed to limp into our solar system before losing all main power. Murmurs filled the room. Some were excited about the advanced technology, others worried about the risk of helping aliens who were being chased by an unknown enemy. The council president raised her hand for silence. What exactly are they asking from us? They need a safe place to land their civilian ships and help repairing their fleet, James replied. They're willing to share their technology in exchange for our help. Dr. Marcus spoke up again, her voice urgent. There's something else you should know. I've been studying their technical data. Their technology is far more advanced than ours, but that's actually part of the problem. It's so advanced that we can barely understand it. It's like showing a smartphone to someone from the 1800s. Then how can we help them? Someone asked. Because sometimes simpler is better, Dr. Marcus said with a slight smile. Their quantum technology might be advanced, but it's also delicate. Our fusion engines are much more basic, but they're also more robust. We might not be able to fix their drives, but we might be able to help them build new ones based on our technology. The defense minister frowned. The resources needed would be enormous. Every shipyard on Earth and Mars would need to be involved. And what about security? Another official asked. 2 million aliens is a significant population. How can we be sure this isn't some kind of invasion plan? High Elder Kren's voice suddenly came through the room's speakers. He had been listening from his ship as agreed. We understand your concerns. We offer to keep most of our fleet in the outer solar system. Only send repair ships and essential personnel closer to Earth. We will submit to any reasonable security measures. The alien's voice carried a tone of desperation that everyone in the room could hear. Please understand, we have children on these ships. Families. We've traveled for 2 years to escape our pursuers. We wouldn't risk our children's lives for a deception. The room fell silent. Captain James looked at each council member in turn. Every hour we delay, their situation gets worse. We need to make a decision. The council president stood up. We'll vote now. But first, Captain James, what's your recommendation? You've spent the most time with them. James straightened his uniform. Madam President, members of the council, in the past 3 days I've learned more about these people. They're refugees, but they're also scholars, scientists, and explorers. They value knowledge and peace. Yes, helping them carries risks. But turning away 2 million people in need goes against everything humanity stands for. He paused, then continued. Besides, if their pursers eventually come here, wouldn't it be better to have allies who understand their technology? This could be the most important decision humanity has ever made. The council president nodded. Then let's vote. The fate of 2 million lives, and possibly humanity's first real alliance with an alien civilization, hangs in the balance. As the voting began, Dr. Marcus was already sketching designs for hybrid fusion quantum drives. Whatever the council decided, she knew that humanity's engineers and scientists would face their greatest challenge yet, and she couldn't wait to begin. The Mars shipyard was the largest human-made structure off Earth, and today it was buzzing with activity. Dr. Anna Marcus stood in front of a massive window, looking at the alien ship that had been carefully moved into the repair dock. Its silver surface reflected the red Martian sunlight, making it look like it was on fire. "It's not going to work," said Lux, the alien fleet's chief engineer. The tall, blue-skinned alien stood next to her, looking at the human engineers swarming around his ship. "Your technology is too simple." Dr. Marcus smiled. "Simple isn't always bad. Watch and learn." For 2 weeks, they had tried to repair the damaged quantum cores. The alien technology was too complex, too delicate for human tools to fix. But Dr. Marcus had a different plan. She walked over to a large table where a human fusion drive sat next to pieces of the alien quantum system. "We can't fix your quantum cores," she explained, "but we can build something new, something that combines both our technologies." Lux looked confused. "How can you combine such different systems?" "Think of it like this," Marcus said, picking up 2 gears of different sizes. "They don't fit together directly, but with the right adapter." She placed a 3rd gear between them, and they turned smoothly. "We can make them work together." The next few days were filled with trial and error. Human engineers worked alongside alien technicians, learning from each other. They discovered that while the quantum cores were damaged, their power distribution systems still worked. If they could connect human fusion drives to those systems, the ships could move again. "It won't be as fast as your original drives," Marcus explained to a group of alien engineers, "but it will be reliable. And more importantly, we can build these drives quickly." The first test came 3 days later. They had installed a modified fusion drive on a small alien shuttle. Captain James and High Elder Kren watched from the control room as Dr. Marcus ran the startup sequence. "Beginning fusion reaction," she announced. The drive hummed to life, its blue glow mixing with the alien ship's silver light. "Power flow is stable, connecting to alien systems." Everyone held their breath. This was the crucial moment. Either the human drive would successfully power the alien systems, or the shuttle's lights flickered, then steadied. Status displays in both human and alien languages showed green across the board. "It works," Marcus shouted, her voice filled with joy. "All systems are running at 85% efficiency." The human engineers cheered. Even the usually calm alien technicians showed excitement, their skin colors shifting to bright patterns. High Elder Kren turned to Captain James. "Your people have done the impossible. You've found a way to merge technologies that should never have worked together." James smiled. "That's what humans do best. We find ways to make things work." But there was no time to celebrate for long. They had to scale up the solution to work on the huge refugee ships. Every shipyard on Earth and Mars began manufacturing modified fusion drives. The aliens shared their knowledge of materials and engineering, helping humans improve their manufacturing processes. Dr. Marcus worked tirelessly, coordinating teams across 2 planets. They had less than 2 months before the first refugee ships would start losing life support. "We're building drives faster than we ever have before," she told Captain James during a brief break. "But it's not just about the drives anymore. Our engineers are learning so much from working with their technology, and they're learning from us too." James nodded. "I saw an alien engineer drinking coffee yesterday. Cultural exchange goes both ways, it seems." As they talked, another test shuttle successfully lifted off from Mars, its hybrid drive glowing with combined human and alien technology. It was a symbol of what could be achieved when different civilizations worked together. But in the back of everyone's mind was a worrying question. Would they be ready in time? And what about the mysterious pursuers that had forced the aliens to flee in the first place? The race against time continued, but now humanity had proven they could solve even the most challenging problems with determination and creativity. Commander Tom West stood in front of the largest fleet Earth had ever assembled. 50 cargo ships, 30 repair vessels, and 20 defensive cruisers filled the space around Mars. Each ship carried engineers, supplies, and the newly built hybrid fusion drives. "All ships report ready," his communications officer said. "The first wave can launch in 10 minutes. "Send the signal," West ordered. "Operation Safe Haven begins now." The rescue fleet moved out toward the stranded alien ships in the Kuiper Belt. It would take them 5 days to reach the refugees, but Earth couldn't wait any longer. The first alien ships were already showing signs of life support failure. Aboard the lead ship, Dr. Marcus reviewed the installation plans one last time with Lux. "We'll start with the ships that have the weakest life support first," she explained. "Each repair team has both human and alien engineers. We've run the simulations 100 times." Lux's skin showed patterns of worry. "But we've never done this in real space conditions. If something goes wrong, then we'll fix it," Marcus said firmly. "That's what engineers do." When they reached the refugee fleet, everyone was shocked by what they saw. Many ships were completely dark now, running on their last emergency power. The sight made the human crews work even faster. The first installation was the hardest. Human repair ships carefully approached a refugee vessel carrying 10,000 civilians. Teams in space suits moved between the ships, carrying equipment and tools. Inside, human and alien engineers worked side by side to connect the new drives. "Power levels rising," reported the alien ship's captain. "Life support is..." "Yes, life support is back to full power." Cheers filled the communication channels in both human and alien languages, but there was no time to celebrate. They had hundreds more ships to save. Days turned into weeks. The repair fleet worked nonstop, moving from ship to ship. As each vessel got its new drive, it moved closer to Mars orbit. The refugee fleet was slowly coming back to life. The work wasn't just about engineering. Humans learned more about the aliens with each passing day. They discovered that the aliens loved music, though their songs used sounds humans could barely hear. The aliens were fascinated by human food, especially sweet things. Cultural officers on each repair ship helped bridge the gaps between species. One young engineer found that alien children weren't so different from human ones. During a repair job, she taught them to play catch in zero gravity, using soft repair foam as a ball. Soon, similar games were happening across the fleet. Commander West watched all this from his command ship. "It's amazing," he told Captain James during a daily briefing. "A month ago, these people were strangers from another part of the galaxy. Now our crews are sharing meals with them." James nodded, but his face was serious. "The deep space sensors are picking up something strange. The same kind of disturbance the refugees passed through. We need to work faster." West understood. The mysterious pursuers might be getting closer. "We've completed repairs on 60% of the fleet. The crews are getting faster with practice. Another 3 weeks, and we should have them all done." "Let's hope that's fast enough," James replied. Back on the repair lines, Dr. Marcus and Lux supervised another installation. As they worked, Lux said something that made Marcus pause. "You know," the alien engineer said, "when our quantum drives failed, we thought we were doomed. Our technology was so advanced that we couldn't imagine a simpler solution would save us. We were wrong about many things, including humans." Marcus smiled as she watched another refugee ship light up with power. Sometimes the best solutions are the simple ones, and sometimes help comes from unexpected places. As if to prove her point, another cheer went up as one more ship came back to life. The great rescue mission continued, a testament to what humanity could achieve when they put their minds to it. But in the darkness of space, something was coming, and time was running out. The warning came at midnight Earth time. Deep space sensors around Pluto picked up massive energy readings. Captain James was woken from his sleep by urgent calls from the command center. "Show me," he ordered, looking at the main screen of the EDF Defender. What he saw made his blood run cold. Hundreds of objects were moving through space, heading straight for the solar system. High Elder Kren's face appeared on a second screen. The alien leader looked worried. They found us. The harvesters are coming. Tell me about these harvesters, James demanded. We need to know what we're facing. The story Kren told was terrifying. The harvesters were not living beings, but ancient robotic entities that traveled from system to system, consuming everything in their path. They broke down entire civilizations for resources, turning planets into stripped wastelands. Their technology is far beyond even ours, Kren explained. That's why we ran. We couldn't fight them. In the emergency meeting that followed, Earth's military leaders faced a harsh truth. Even with the refugee fleet, they were greatly outnumbered. The harvesters had thousands of ships, each one more advanced than anything humans had ever seen. How long do we have? The defense minister asked. At their current speed, 4 days, James replied. But there's something strange about their approach. They're moving slower than Kren said they could. Dr. Marcus, who had been quietly studying the sensor data, suddenly stood up. The anomaly, she said. The same space disturbance that damaged the refugee ships. The harvesters passed through it too. The room fell silent as everyone understood what this meant. The harvesters' advanced quantum technology might be affected just like the refugee ships had been. Could this be our chance? James asked. Their fancy technology might not work properly, but our primitive weapons might work just fine, finished West. Our missiles don't use quantum systems. Our rail guns are simple physics. Even our ship's new hybrid drives are mostly based on basic fusion technology. The next few days were a blur of activity. Every ship in Earth's fleet was armed and ready. The refugee ships that could still fight were moved into defensive positions. Those carrying civilians were hidden in the shadow of Mars. Engineers worked around the clock to build more weapons. They even found ways to mount human weapons on some of the refugee ships, creating an unusual but powerful combined fleet. Captain James stood on his bridge, watching the defense fleet take position. It was the largest gathering of ships he had ever seen, but would it be enough? The harvesters are entering the outer solar system, his sensor officer reported. Their ships, yes, they're having trouble. Their movements are erratic. James opened a channel to all ships, all fleet commanders. This is Captain James. We're about to face an enemy that has terrorized the galaxy for centuries. They think their advanced technology makes them invincible. But today, they face something they've never met before: human determination. He paused, looking at his crew, at the alien allies on their ships, at the combined fleet ready for battle. They don't understand that sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. They don't understand that courage and friendship are stronger than any technology. Today, we prove that humanity and our allies will not bow to any threat, no matter how ancient or powerful. The first harvester ships appeared on the long-range cameras. They were massive black shapes, like mechanical space creatures. But they moved sluggishly, their systems clearly affected by the anomaly they had passed through. All ships, battle stations, James ordered. Let's show these machines what happens when they threaten our friends and our home. The greatest space battle in human history was about to begin, and humanity's primitive technology might just be their greatest advantage. The first shots of the battle were fired near Neptune's orbit. The harvester ships, massive black shapes against the stars, moved forward like wounded giants. Their quantum systems flickered and sputtered, damaged by the same anomaly that had crippled the refugee fleet. All ships, hold position, Captain James ordered. Let them come to us. The human alien fleet waited in formation. Earth ships with their simple but reliable weapons stood alongside refugee vessels, now armed with hybrid technology. They were outnumbered 3-1, but they had one big advantage. Their weapons worked perfectly. The first harvester ship fired a quantum beam that should have cut through a human cruiser. Instead, the beam wavered and dissipated, weakened by their damaged systems. The human ship responded with a barrage of conventional missiles. Direct hit, shouted the weapons officer. The Harvester's shields, running on failing quantum technology, couldn't stop the simple explosive force. Its hull cracked open like an egg. "All ships, engage," James commanded. "Remember the plan. Use basic weapons only. Nothing fancy." The space around Neptune lit up with explosions. Rail guns fired solid metal slugs at incredible speeds. Missiles streaked through space. Laser batteries, running on simple nuclear power, cut through the Harvester's weakened defenses. On the bridge of his command ship, James watched as the battle unfolded. Status report. "We've destroyed 30 Harvester ships," his tactical officer reported. "We've lost 12 of ours. The simple weapons are working, sir. They can't defend against them properly." Commander West's voice came over the radio. "Captain, look at their formation. They're still trying to use their usual tactics, but their ships can't keep up. They're getting confused." James smiled grimly. The Harvesters were like a champion boxer fighting with a broken hand. All their skill and power meant nothing if they couldn't use it properly. Dr. Marcus called from the engineering station. "Captain, the refugee ships report their hybrid drives are working better than expected. The Harvesters can't predict their movements because they're not using pure quantum technology." The battle raged for hours. The Harvesters, for the first time in their ancient history, faced an enemy they couldn't overwhelm with superior technology. Their complex quantum weapons misfired or failed completely, while humanity's primitive weapons worked exactly as they should. "They're retreating," someone shouted. The massive Harvester fleet was pulling back, their formations broken, many of their ships damaged or destroyed. But James knew they wouldn't give up so easily. "All ships, push forward. Don't let them regroup." The combined fleet surged forward. Human missiles and rail guns continued their deadly work. Refugee ships, their hybrid drives working perfectly, outmaneuvered the confused Harvesters. For the first time ever, the ancient machines were being beaten. The Harvester fleet commander tried one last desperate attack. Their largest ship, big as a small moon, charged straight at the human lines. Its quantum weapons fired randomly, its systems clearly failing. "All ships, concentrate fire," James ordered. Every weapon in the human-alien fleet targeted the massive vessel. Rails guns fired, missiles launched, and laser batteries burned. The giant ship shields flickered and died. The explosion lit up space like a new sun. The remaining Harvester ships, seeing their leader destroyed, turned and fled at their highest working speed, which, thanks to their damaged quantum drives, wasn't very fast at all. Cheers erupted across every ship in the defense fleet. Human and alien crews celebrated together. They had done the impossible. They had beaten the unbeatable Harvesters. "Send word to Earth," James ordered, allowing himself to smile. "The threat is over. And tell them why we won. Because sometimes the simplest solution is the strongest one." As the combined fleet regrouped, James looked at his crew, humans and aliens working side by side. They had proved that determination, cooperation, and simple ingenuity could overcome even the most advanced enemy. The age of human-alien cooperation had begun with a victory that would be remembered across the galaxy. 1 month after the battle, Earth looked different. Refugee ships hung in orbit like silver stars, their hybrid drives glowing with combined human and alien technology. On the ground, the changes were even more dramatic. Captain James stood in the new Stellar Alliance embassy in Geneva, watching alien children play with human kids in the garden. They were playing that same game of zero-gravity catch that had started on the repair ships, though here they had to make do with regular gravity. "It's amazing how quickly they adapt," High Elder Kren said, standing beside him. The alien leader looked different now, more relaxed, wearing a mixture of his traditional robes and an Earth-style jacket that he had grown fond of. "Children always lead the way," James replied. "They don't care about technological differences or where someone comes from. They just want to play and make friends." The meeting they were waiting for was historic. The Stellar Alliance Council had arrived to formally thank humanity and discuss the future, but they had been surprised by what they found on Earth. Dr. Marcus was presenting the hybrid drive technology to the council. By combining our simple but reliable fusion technology with your quantum systems, we've created something new, she explained. It's not as advanced as pure quantum drives, but it's more stable. And most importantly, it can't be disrupted like quantum technology can. The council members looked impressed. One of them spoke up. We've always believed that moving forward meant making things more complex, more advanced. You've shown us that sometimes moving forward means finding a better balance. Commander West entered the room with more news. The deep space sensors we modified with alien technology have found more survivors, he announced. 3 other refugee fleets, hiding in different systems. They all fled from the harvesters. We're sending them messages now, telling them it's safe to come out. The council was quiet for a moment. The harvesters have terrorized our galaxy for thousands of years, another member said. No one ever beat them before. Yet humanity, a species we didn't even know existed, did it with technology we thought was primitive. We were wrong about many things. The formal ceremony that followed was brief, as both humans and aliens preferred it that way. Earth was officially recognized as a full member of the Stellar Alliance, but more importantly, many of the refugees had asked to stay. We found something here, Lux explained to a council member who questioned this decision. Humans don't just solve problems. They think about them in new ways. Working together, we can do things neither of us could do alone. The evidence was everywhere. Human engineers were already working with alien scientists to develop new technologies that combine the best of both worlds. Alien medical knowledge was helping human doctors cure diseases. Human art and music were being transformed by alien perspectives, and alien culture was being enriched by human creativity. There's something else, High Elder Kren told the council. The harvesters weren't destroyed completely. They'll probably return one day with defenses against simple weapons, but by then, we'll be ready. Together, we're stronger than either of us alone. Captain James looked out at the garden again. More children had joined the game, which had evolved into something that wasn't quite human or alien but completely new. Just like their hybrid technology, their hybrid fleet, their hybrid future. You know what the best part is, he said to Kren. We didn't just save your people. You didn't just share your technology with us. Together, we've started something new, something that's never existed before. Kren's skin showed patterns of joy and agreement, a civilization that combines the best of both worlds. Advanced technology working together with simple solutions, ancient knowledge paired with fresh perspectives. As the sun set over the new embassy, ships in orbit glowed with their hybrid drives, lighting the sky like new stars. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger galaxy, not through conquest or overwhelming technology, but by offering help to those in need. The rewards had been greater than anyone could have imagined. The age of human-alien cooperation had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.